playful and majestic, and disappearing. Every day, as many as 20 orangutans vanish. They starve to death when their homes are destroyed, or are killed when they stray into villages in search of food. International Animal Rescue is fighting for the survival of the critically endangered orangutan, but we can't do it without you. Please visit internationalanimalrescue.org and help us save orangutans before it's too late. That's internationalanimalrescue.org.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
You're bringing your daughter to a pop concert. Do you A, wear earplugs?
Isn't this fun, Dad?
I'll have a soft pretzel.
Or B, just roll with it?
Justin! OMG! I love you, Justin! I love you!
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on adoption, visit adoptuskids.org. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Sensory sensitivity, repetitious behavior, lack of eye contact. You can see signs of autism in children as young as 18 months. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Fox Sports Radio 1400, WCOS Columbia, an iHeart radio station.
It's time for Clemson Sports Talk with Lawton Swan.
Ready, set! Just call me Swanee.
Tiger style. Tiger style.
Finally, Clemson Sports Talk has come back to Drive Time. Hello, everybody. Lawton Swan back in the saddle. Once again, it is the show that shakes the Southland. Clemson Sports Talk for you each and every afternoon as you make your way around the great state of South Carolina and beyond. Hanging out with us in the Midlands on Fox Sports Radio 1400. In the PD on Sports Radio 100.1 The Fan in Florence. On 9:20 a.m. That's in Manning and in the Low Country. 803-450-0086. If you want to text us, you can. 803-450-0086. Always appreciate each and every one of you being a part of the program, spending a little time hanging out with us, being a fan of the show, watching the show, sharing the show. Doing all of the incredible things that you do to help us grow over on our website, clemsonsportstalk.com. It is, honest to goodness, it is a blessing to be a part of your days. It is my pleasure to be a part of your weeks. And something that I did not recognize out of the gates yesterday, it was our 7th, and I have done so good. For so many years with doing this show, not just on the radio for you and now on Facebook, but doing the show on July the 15th, being our anniversary edition and going about things that way, talking about the annual Swanee Awards. I mean, so many things that we've done through the years that for whatever reason, who do you blame? You blame yourself, Swanee. I guess because I'm out of the studio. I'm not tracking the days as much. I'm just happy to know that it's Thursday. What day of the week it is can be more difficult. But yesterday was our, wait for it, this is unbelievable, our 7th year on the air. 7 years on the air on Fox Sports Radio 1400 in the Midlands and being a part of the iHeartRadio family in the Midlands. Of course, we're part of the Cumulus family over in Florence and heading towards a year over in that market. But 7 years now, as we always said, in the belly of the beast, Columbia, South Carolina. And one thing is for sure, tomorrow we're going to do it upright. tomorrow, we are going to do it up right here on the program. We're going to have a big show, lots of fun. We will most likely dive into classic moments from the show, like this one that actually played for you the other day.
But losing 6 coaches the previous year off a team that won the ACC, won 12 games, won the Orange Bowl, and 6 coaches fly the coop. What's your name again? I'm sorry, sir.
Just call me Swanee.
Swanee. They can't pay these people. They can't pay because they haven't managed their books properly.
Oh, listen to there. I love that call. There's so much great to, like, if you, now listen, I understand that a lot of you have never hosted a radio show. Okay, first and foremost. Like, I get that. But if you've ever done anything where people should probably know your name, but then when it comes down to it, you end up having the guy say to you on the air live, "I'm sorry, sir. What's your name?" There's something awesome to that moment. At least for, I'm sorry, I'm pumping my mic. At least for me. I'm getting excited like Rob Sanders. Rob's knocking his mic around. I heard him at the back end of his program talking about it. Now you guys got me fired up. 803-450-0086. That's your number, 803-450-0086. You can text us as well. Thank you to our watchers and viewers over on Facebook. Edward says, "Oh, such sweet moments we've shared." He said, "Thank you for being the realest of the real in Columbia. Go Tigers. You need to let me come in and talk." Trust me, you don't want to come here. We can't social distance in this little room. Actually, this room's bigger than the studio I'm in over at iHeart. But, yeah, maybe one day, Edward, we'll get you in. But you can certainly still participate, and you know that. 803-450-0086. Not only is that the text line, that is also your phone line. And so I would recommend to each and every one of you to go ahead and check out the program. Share the show if you're watching it right now. Craig chiming in to the program. He says, "Bro, it's a long way from a podcast at your house to this." Craig, you were there. Craig was there from the start. I mean, he's been a part of this program so long that we've considered giving him a show. The Mark and Craig and Mark show. If that tells you anything about how long we've been doing it. But golly, are we blessed? I mean, I could do this today, and I should have done this yesterday. They should have been Swanee Awards and everything. It's sort of the COVID-19 edition of the Swanee Awards. But, yeah, there is no doubting the fact that to go from where we were, and we started this thing. If you don't know the story, and I'm sure I'll dive into it more tomorrow. But if you don't know, I started this show when I moved to the Midlands. Steve Spurrier had just taken over the South Carolina Gamecocks program. And, buddy, they were all the talk. And Spurrier coming back to college football was the biggest deal in the land, perhaps. And so from that standpoint, for me, I quickly recognized, okay, being a Tiger in the Midlands, I am going to go nuts. I'm going to lose my mind if I don't hear some Clemson conversations. And that's where this show got started. And I lived over on South Edisto Drive, I guess, or Avenue. I can't remember. Over in downtown Columbia. And I started a podcast. I had no idea how to do it. And it was atrocious. But you listened. And then eventually, the folks at iHeartRadio gave me an opportunity, and you listened. And here we are today, 7 years and a day into our tenure. And we're doing it on more platforms, in more markets, with more viewers and more watchers than we ever had. I got to be better, though, because today is my daughter's 8th birthday. So I got to shout her out. Happy birthday, Brinley. I need to be able to keep up with that. Like, I know her birthday's coming. My show's anniversary was, I started my show the day before her first birthday. And I remember that year, man, just working towards getting this thing up and running. So you see the title on the program today. We'll shift gears. We'll head that direction. Tim Beret coming up in hour number 2. And if you do remember, because I don't, I thought. I would have sworn I wrote it down. But earlier in the week, I mentioned at some point along the way, I said, oh, that's a great thing to talk to Tim about. And I can't remember if it was when, when we were having our conversation with Wayne Buckingham, whether it was when we were having a conversation with Mike Yuva or William Qualkenbush. But some point along the way in the week, I said, I need to ask Tim that. And I thought I jotted the note down. I didn't. If you remember that note, what it was, text me, because I do want to make sure that I get with Tim about that. And I could not for the life of me remember what it is. But there was some major news today out of the state of South Carolina as the MEAC has suspended the fall season, which means South Carolina State will not play football. Now, I have reached out to Stacy Danley. He is the athletic director at SC State. Now, we may get up with him here on the program. I know what you're thinking. You're saying, Swanee, this is the show that shakes the Southland. But the deal is this show, which is broadcasted across the state of South Carolina, is not just listened to by Tiger fans, but it's also listened to by Gamecock fans and many other people who have been not just a part of this show for so many years, but I've always said, without the others, who are you? And without South Carolina, who is Clemson? Without SC State being in the state of South Carolina and the role that they play in matchups from time to time with the Tigers and or the Gamecocks and many other schools, I mean, they have a significant impact on this state. And to sit here today and do a show about the Clemson Tigers and not recognize what just happened with SC State and that entire conference, it's disheartening. And we've been, as you know, if you're a fan of this program, we have been, I would say to a degree, a bit out in front on the belief that college football is going to be extremely difficult to be played, especially in the fall. I think we've seen that what's happened with the Big Ten's maneuver, with the Pac-12's maneuver, we are beginning to witness things unraveling when it comes down to college football before our eyes. And it's not fun. It's not ideal. It's not something that you or I wanted to have to think about or talk about or discuss or be a part of. But it is the reality of where we are today. And for those SC State Bulldog fans, graduates, players, high school students looking to play, in the future, collegiately, today's news it's a shot in the heart. The Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference announced on Thursday that the league will suspend all sports competitions, championships, and non-championship segments for the 2020 fall season because of the COVID-19 pandemic. That move, again, means that South Carolina State won't play football this season and makes the MEAC the first Division I scholarship conference to call off the fall campaign. I mean, it's painful. And if we've seen anything during COVID-19, I don't want to call this a copycat world by any means, because I think if you weigh the pros versus the cons and ultimately you decide that the safest thing for you to do is to not play, and other conferences look at the data and the evidence and listen to scientists and follow the doctors and the people who working these fields and they come to the conclusion, well, we can't play. I don't necessarily consider that a copycat per se, but it seems much like with the Ivy League in basketball, much like the Ivy League in football, moving things back, we see now that once it's almost like a snowball. It's almost like a snowball. Now, the MEAC has said they have not declared, not decided yet if the fall sports will be moved to the spring semester. I think that you would hope that ends up being the case. You obviously have to be concerned about the financial situation, playing or not playing in 2020. And that may be the other underlying thing for these smaller schools and the schools that don't get the type of ad revenue that you at Clemson and Florida State and South Carolina and other programs get. They don't really have to weigh in, oh, well, how much money are we going to lose? They're not, how many millions additional are we going to lose? They don't have that underlying factor of finance that really, really affects them. They're going to be hurt either way. But their, quote, hurt worse is not nearly what the hurt worse looks like at big programs. That in terms of the financial side. I mean, look, you can't put a price on a kid's final season playing collegiately. You can't put a price on that. I hate it. And again, we're hoping to hear from SC State Athletic Director Stacey Danley today. Here's what he said in a statement on WIS News' website. He said, because our student athletes and coaches make extraordinary contributions to our entire campus and Orangeburg community, this is an extremely heartbreaking decision. He said, however, I support the decision because I know that it's the right call based on the information available to us today regarding the continued spread of the virus. Danley went on to note that our medical staff worked diligently to create an extensive health and safety return to campus plan for voluntary workouts. However, we were prepared as an institution he said, however, while we were prepared as an institution to execute that plan, I want to assure everyone associated with our university that this decision was made with the health and safety of our students, coaches, faculty, staff, and community in mind. There's those words again, folks, health and safety. You might as well put them in a book. You might as well jot them down. They're not going away. Health and safety of the student athletes at the collegiate level is going to drive this conversation. It has to. They're not paid. And until they are paid the type of money that professional athletes are paid, rest assured that those types of comments and those types of statements are going to continue to pour out of programs and of universities and athletic departments until we are essentially either past this or in the middle of a season. It's a frustrating thing. I mean, I don't think anybody is denying the frustration this goes along with not knowing what's going to happen. And what I think is even more frustrating is you'd like to be able to wait until the last moment to make a decision. And it's possible that that will be the direction of some of these leagues and conferences and schools in the Power 5, at the Power 5 level. But there is absolutely no guaranteeing that that will be the case. There's absolutely no guaranteeing that they won't pull the chute tomorrow or next week. And that's the thing I think that bothers so many people. You feel like something's coming. You're probably tired of waiting. And you get the feeling more and more looking around and reading the tea leaves that it may not be great for the sport that you love. Because of the financial side, they will make every single effort to make sure that these teams get out and get a chance to play at the Power 5 level, but I can't guarantee you that it will happen. Now, I can tell you one of the computers in front of me is telling me it wants to restart. It claims it's going to do it in 30 seconds. If it does, we will come back on Facebook, on Twitter, and on YouTube. But we will stay with you on the iHeartRadio app where you can tune in and be a part of the show. And I'm just telling that thing cancel. Get out of my face. You're not restarting on my watch. If I got to say no to you for 2 hours, Mr. Computer, I'll do it. I'm stubborn. 803-450-0086. And again, thank you to all our Tiger fans and also our rivals, the Gamecocks peeking over the fence. Even some SC State fans potentially being a part of the program. You can chat with us over on Facebook, or you can hit us up on our text line, but never while you're driving, 803-450-0086. You can also leave a message there. Let us know what you think. But, man, do we appreciate you peeking over the fence.
So you can continue to peek over the fence at the best radio show in the nation.
My man, Cleveland Man. Cleveland Man, if you're out there, call us, leave us a message. We hadn't heard from Cleveland Man since we went into quarantine here at the Palatial 108 Studios after leaving Greystone Boulevard back in March. We'll hit a quick break. We come back with more. Stay with us.
Here's your chance to win $1,000. Text the nationwide keyword check to 200-200. You'll get a confirmation text and info. Standard data and message rates apply in this nationwide contest. That's check to 200-200.
Fox Sports Radio 1400 traffic.
Our first look at traffic this afternoon shows a wreck on 2-Notch at Spears Creek Church Road. We also have an accident I-26 eastbound near the Lake Murray Boulevard exit. I'm Rob Sanders. You can reach out to me on the 103.5 FM WVOC traffic tip line, 343-1055.
This report is sponsored by SOS Children's Villages. War, poverty, and disaster have left millions of children around the world orphaned, abandoned, alone. When their parents can't be there, SOS Children's Villages is there in 134 countries, including the U.S., to make a difference in a child's life. Go to sosusa.org.
Of course my kid's in the right car seat. Well, I think he is.
Yeah, my kid's in a booster seat. He was ready to move up. He is ready, right?
Her car seat looks like the right size.
There are probably rules on when to move up to a booster seat, aren't there?
Rear facing, forward facing. I think I have it right.
Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Are your children in the right car seat for their age and size? Don't think you know. Know you know. Go to safercar.gov/the right seat.
I know my child's in the right car seat, or else I wouldn't get in the driver's seat.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Dad, this is fun. I didn't think I'd like kayaking.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, but I think it's time to head back in.
Okay. Can we come back?
Sure.
Tomorrow?
Let's check with Mom. Hey, be careful getting out of the boat.
It's a kayak, Dad.
I'm gonna return the kayak. Just make sure you have everything.
Yep. Can we walk home?
How about a
taxi?
233 North Maple, please.
It's a short fare from your neighborhood to your naturehood. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a neighborhood park or green space near you. Also, find fun activities to do like boating and biking or camping and hiking, plus much more. It's all right in your naturehood.
Best day ever.
A public service announcement brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
It may be hard to believe, but people just like you are already saving money. FeedThePig.org makes it easy. Their simple savings plan teaches you how to start saving without going overboard. So you don't need to ditch the car and start rollerblading to work.
I look ridiculous.
You look ridiculous!
You don't need to start foraging wild berries.
I was skeptical, but these are actually pretty good.
You don't need to sell your organs on the black market.
Lie back. This is gonna hurt.
Yeah, that hurts. You don't need to rent out your apartment to drifters.
I made a fire with the wood in your bedroom.
That's my dresser!
And your closet door. You just need an internet connection. Don't get left behind. Start your personal savings plan with the tips and tools on feedthepig.org. That way, you don't need to sell all your belongings and live in a commune.
These dungarees belong to all of us now, Tom.
Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Clemson Sports Talk. Join the show in the chat room at clemsonsportstalk.com.
Bill hanging out with us over on Facebook, watching the show. He says he loves the podcast, brother. Yes, Bill. Anytime somebody drops a brother, that makes me think of course, Hulk Hogan. Thank you, Bill, for being a part of the show, and I do appreciate it, man. Y'all, you have no idea. When I hear from the podcast listeners, I think about the effort that goes into that. You know what I mean? Good for them. And anytime, Bill, you text, you call, you tweet, whatever you do, man, we like to reset it all. Tomorrow we're going to have the annual Swanee Awards a couple of days late. 803-450-0086, your text line. That's your phone line. You can leave us a message. So I was thinking today, and this is like one of those things that's, yeah, you want to talk about maybe the first time Swanee has hit the proverbial dead period, shutdown time wall for the first time ever. I started thinking, my daughter's birthday, she wanted breakfast at McDonald's, wanted me to pick something up for breakfast. And so I thought wrongly that they would have the 24-hour breakfast, but apparently that's not a thing in the midst of a pandemic. No! Yeah. So I called my wife and I said, hey, they don't have a all day breakfast menu. And so I thought about picking up something else, but I said, I'll just come on home because we had plenty of food here to eat. Long story short, in the midst of that, I started thinking, are you more disappointed when the burger is bad or the fries? So I'm polling you. Which do you hate the most? Good burger with bad fries? Or a bad burger with good fries? Polling people on Facebook, polling people on Twitter as well. We'll let you know what it looks like. I'll be honest, just for me, if I had to tell you which one I like the least, I hate it. I hate it when the fries are bad. I could kind of deal with a burger that may have been sitting under the grill light too long or whatever. But, dude, if my fries are soggy or undercooked or not salted enough, not golden and crispy, the way McDonald's makes them, which, by the way, adds to the fact that, admit this, McDonald's fries always taste better if you just borrow one of someone else's. I don't recommend that in the midst of COVID-19, but back in the day, pre-COVID, I guess we'll call that what? PC, pre-COVID, you reach over and grab a couple of your buddies, one or two of his fries, and you're like, man, my fries never taste that good. But if I reach into that bag and the fries are kind of whitish and not exactly cooked.
Don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
I am in the camp of I hate the most. I absolutely hate when I get a good burger and the fries are bad. 803-450-0086. I got people shouting us out. 00 says, oh, yeah, Swanee's Cooking Show. Recipes, please. Oh, man. Yeah. We'll let you know if we do hear anything, though, out of SC State today. Stacey Danley going to potentially join the program here to talk a little bit about everything that's going on. And again, that is the biggest news of the day, I think, just locally in sports, simply because of the circumstances surrounding all those schools in the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference and what that means to those young athletes who wanted to be getting ready for a football season, whether you're Florida A&M. I'm trying to get you a list of everybody North Carolina A&T, Bethune-Cookman. I mean, on and on and on. Just it's a painful and harsh reminder of what so many people are dealing with today. And so it really is something that's got me. It's made my heart heavy, I think, as well. Double O also says, Swanee, admit it, you can't even spell proverbial.
Well, pardon me, Mr. Perfect!
Yeah, take that, Double O. Again, 803-450-0086. I probably couldn't spell proverbial, but that is neither here nor there. And again, these schools in the MEAC, the other thing that I think bothers me and should bother you is that there is still so much uncertainty for the spring. And I think that people just are I think we've crossed this one point where I think people are absolutely just tired of it. And I think that's why when some restrictions got loosened up, people are like, all right, let's go. Let's get out and go. And so, and now it's progressed on into 4 months and heading into 5 months. And as a human, your lack of contact. I was telling somebody earlier today, outside of my home and the grocery store, the only other places I have been inside since March. I went into a Wendy's because they forgot ketchup while we were traveling. I went into a little Chinese restaurant near my house to pick up food to carry out. And I went into a UPS store. I haven't been in anyone else's house outside of when I went to the beach. I haven't been in anyone else's house since March. It's the strangest thing ever. Now, the MEAC consists in football of Bethune-Cookman, Delaware State, Florida A&M, Howard, Morgan State, Norfolk State, North Carolina A&T, North Carolina Central, and SC State. And so you really feel, man, you're even if you don't have an investment, you may have never seen a single game that any of those teams play. To be the first scholarship conference to say, yeah, we're not playing, not this fall. You might not like it. You don't have to, you don't have to like the decision. I don't have to like the decision. What I think you do need to recognize is this could ultimately be the decision that comes down from the big boys too. And we've noted Chris Fowler saying, hey, this is like a 3rd and long. For the college football season, we got to have a conversion here, folks. You've heard the pessimism of 75% of athletic directors at this point. Very concerned. While things keep churning, there hadn't been a lot of great news.
A grand in your hand.
That would help out a ton.
Winner.
Amazing.
After winner.
This will be very helpful.
After winner.
Definitely keep me going until I hopefully go back to work soon.
You could be next.
This helps a lot.
Your chance to win $1,000 is coming up.
Listen for your cue to text on Fox Sports Radio 1400.
Kirk Commercial Construction is a licensed general contractor in South Carolina. Since 2011, Chris Kirk, a Columbia native with 20 years of construction experience, has believed in meeting his customers' needs. Kirk Commercial Construction is capable of performing any retail or office expansion, new construction, metal building, or commercial renovation work. In addition to Kirk's commercial construction projects, their service division can assist you with commercial and maintenance tasks. If you need it done right, call 803-250-2495 or kirkcommercialconstruction.com.
Live from the $1,500 instant rebate AAA Heating and Air Weather Center.
Tonight, the skies clear out and the lows dip only to the mid-70s. Tomorrow, sunny, hot, highs mid to upper 90s. For Channel 25 ABC Columbia, I'm Chief Meteorologist John Farland.
This report is sponsored by Positive Coaching Alliance.
Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org.
We first opened about 10 years ago. We were small, just a few of us.
but it was exciting. I always dreamt of having my own business. It was kind of slow at first, but things started picking up. We had big plans. But in our wildest dreams, we never thought we'd have this much work. Yeah, with so many businesses caught off guard by the storm, Reed Waste Management has never been busier.
What will become of your business after a disaster? Nearly 2/3 of businesses aren't prepared for an emergency, and 40% of businesses that experience a disaster never recover. Make an emergency plan now, before it's too late. For a free online tool that helps you develop an emergency plan to keep your business up and running should disaster strike, visit ready.gov/business. Brought to you by the Federal Emergency Management Agency, the American Red Cross, and the Ad Council.
Sharing has never meant as much as it does now. We share the things we love most in life for the world to see. But what if we could actually do more with our sharing than just collect likes? What if this sharing could be used to make a difference? Now there's a place where we can put all that sharing to good use. The National MS Society is asking people to make a difference and share what they love with someone else who loves it too. Whether it's surfing, dancing, or whatever is important to you, we've created a place that'll help you get your experience out to the world. If you have a story, share it. If you have a solution, share that too. Join us at wearestrongerthanms.org, because together, we are stronger.
Jill, why didn't you tell the class what you did this weekend?
Well, my dad and I went in search of some magical minnows and found a zillion of them in the stream from our lookout rock. Then my sister and I escaped from an evil slug king and went back to my super twig fort for safety. Then we told stories till it got dark, and the Big Dipper led us all the way home.
Wow. Where were you, Jill?
We went to the forest. It's not that far away.
Ask your parents to take you and your friends to the forest this week. It's closer than you think. Check out discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
It's time to show your online assistant where you go for a good time. Okay, Google, play Fox Sports Radio 1400 on iHeartRadio.
Shaking the Southland every afternoon, 4 to 6 in the middle and 6 to 8 in the PD. That is a 4-hour block. You can catch the show that shakes the Southland. You can figure out whether it's a good burger and a bad fry, or a bad burger and a good fry that gets people fired up. I will say, I think I'm beginning to see a trend towards the bad burger, good fry being the thing people hate the most. And I know why. You're all about, you guys are all, you're concerned. You're concerned because you know the burger's what you're really paying for. I think this, if all things were equal, if burgers and fries, if you paid $4 for a meal and it was $2 for the burger and $2 for the fries, I think my argument would win out. But because you feel like the burger's the more expensive of the two items, if that burger's bad, some of you are like, nah, man, can't do it. I'm the opposite. I prefer great fries. 803-450-0086. That's your number, 803-450-0086. So the NBA's trying, right? We told you, keep your eye on the NBA. Some of you are like, I hate the NBA, Swanee. I don't watch the NBA. But you got to keep your eye on the NBA because the NBA is working essentially in a bubble right now. And they are trying to protect their players. They brought them in. They COVID-19 tested them. They're quarantining them, etc. But one big name is having to leave the bubble for undisclosed reasons. Former star in the state of South Carolina, former Duke basketball player Zion Williamson, now with the New Orleans Pelicans, apparently will have to leave the bubble for an undisclosed family issue. An urgent family matter is the way ESPN coined it. Now, this is where I feel like I'm back in the Rubik's Cube for a little bit, trying to figure out how Williamson returns, okay? So the Pelicans executive vice president of basketball operations, David Griffin, said, we fully support Zion's decision to leave the NBA campus to be with his family. Out of respect to Williamson, they will have no further comment. Here's how this works, so when he gets ready to come back, when he's coming back. Williamson will quarantine for 4 days upon his return to the NBA bubble if he has had a negative test each day he's outside the bubble, if he's gone for 7 days or less. So, fairly simple. If he's gone less than a week, he has to have a negative test outside of the bubble every day, and then he comes back in, and he'll still quarantine for 4 days. If he's gone longer than a week, he'll quarantine for 4 days if he's had a negative test for the final 7 days that he's gone. If he doesn't have the required testing, when he returns, he'll be out for 10 days. So the Pelicans are fighting for a playoff spot and now are concerned because today is the 16th. You start getting into being gone for a couple of days, 4 days of quarantine, and maybe longer you're quarantined if you don't test every day. You could see a situation where the Pelicans maybe miss their opportunity to get into the playoffs in this semblance of a season, the final part of the season that the NBA is going to try to give you. But we're already seeing guys have to leave the bubble and come back in, and what that's going to ultimately look like, nobody really knows. But they are striving for it, and much like teachers want to be in the classroom teaching right now, players want to be on the court playing. J.J. Watt in the NFL saying that we want to play, but we need answers. 72 NFL players tested positive for coronavirus recently. These guys want to be out there. They get it. They want to entertain you. They want to do their jobs. As a matter of fact, in today's society where so many people are without jobs and so many people are in strange job situations, I don't think that there are a lot of people out there that just flat out do not want to go to work. Whether that's millionaires and whether that's your average Joe just trying to get by on a day-to-day basis. But from the standpoint of health and safety, it's going to continue to be at the forefront of those conversations. And, I think that while fans can't wait, the things that J.J. Watt says makes a lot of sense. And on Twitter, here's what he tweeted. In the interest of having everyone on the same page in terms of what we know and don't know at this time, here are a few things I've learned being on 4 NFL Player Association calls in the last 2 weeks with hundreds of other players. He says, here's what we know and what we don't know. We want to play. We want to be as safe as possible. We've not received a single valid infectious disease emergency response from any team or the league. We don't know if there's going to be a preseason game or not. We don't know if there will be daily testing, semi-daily testing. We don't know how the potential positive COVID test would affect contracts, roster spots, etc. And so with, again, knowns versus unknowns at all these different levels, I don't care if you're playing in the NFL or playing a game of tiddlywinks in the backyard. If you don't have more knowns and unknowns, you're going to continue to run into these things where people say, I want to play, I want to do it, I want to go to work, but you got to present more than just a plan. There needs to be action. You know what's very difficult right now? Getting your hands on plexiglass. Wonder why? Same reason it was difficult getting the proper type of mask 3-4 months ago. Supply and demand. Every school district, every office teller, every gas station attendant, everywhere you go, there's plexiglass up now. Trying to do whatever people can to continue to live a semi-normal kind of life, but keep themselves as safe as possible. And those things are hard to come by now. Very hard to come by. 803-450-0086. You could text us. You could call us on that line. If you do call, leave us a message. Speaking of COVID-19 testing, one conference has come out with some of their guidelines that they will have in place. Again, not just a plan, but really starting to look at what we are going to do to address the issues to make sure that we take care of health and safety of players and fans, etc. We still don't know about fans. We still don't know about recruits. Obviously, that's all up in the air. Tim Beret joins us coming up in hour number 2. When we come back, I'll tell you which league has started to really narrow in on what they want to do. And I have a sneaky feeling that I know exactly why this league is the one that's doing it.
How much money would you like to save just by doing something you're already doing? How about 40%? With Allstate, safe drivers can save 40% just by doing something they're already doing. Driving safe. That's right, 40% just by driving safe. Visit Allstate.com or call a local agent for a quote today and see just how much you can save when you drive safe with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Savings vary and based on DriveWise and other safe driving discounts. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Uncle Dan? Mom? Dad? If you store your guns properly, so not just anyone can get to them. I'll feel safer when I'm playing outside.
Safer when walking home.
Safer when my friends come over. As your neighbor, I'll feel safer.
As a school teacher, I'll feel safer.
We'll all feel safer.
Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children, troubled teenagers, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Remember, always, lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
Our military service members volunteer to protect us in the most dangerous places around the world. They step up. And when they are severely ill or injured, returning to their families is only the beginning of their long road home. Beyond all the hospitals and doctors and surgeries they need just to survive, they also deserve whatever they need to truly live. All the in-home care and day-to-day help they need to live independently, on their own terms. Wounded Warrior Project long-term support programs were established to provide these brave men and women whatever they need to continue their fight for independence, at no cost, for life. So many of them need us, and it's time for a grateful nation to step up. Find out how you can do your part at findwwp.org. Not on my watch, our military service members say, as they volunteer to serve. Not on my watch, they say, as they leave their families behind to keep the rest of ours safe. As they move out, stand firm, and take fire. So not on our watch, we say, to the severely ill or injured veterans who can't get the care they deserve, the therapists they need to walk again, the treatment they need to talk again, the lifetime of day-to-day help they need to live full and independent lives. When there's no more government funding, or a nursing home seems like the only option, or everyone says there's no hope for recovery, we won't leave one warrior behind. Not on our watch. Find out how you can do your part at findwwp.org.
Whoa, long time no see. It's me, the Rock t-shirt in the back of your closet. Dude, remember? You crowd surfed in me, man. But you haven't worn me in like forever. I get it, you're retired, but I still got some rock left in me. So take me to Goodwill, where I can really make a difference.
Your donations to Goodwill create jobs, training programs, and education assistance for people in your community. To find your nearest donation center, go to goodwill.org. Donate stuff. Create jobs. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Fox Sports Radio 1400. Online at foxsportsradio1400.com. On your phone with the iHeartRadio app. And on hundreds of devices like Alexa, Google Home, Xbox, and Sonos. An iHeart radio station.
It is the show that shakes the Southland. Lawton Swan, Clemson Sports Talk. How about my man Bill? He says bad fries are horrendous. Bill, you're all over it, my man. I am with you. I'll take a bad burger with great fries any day of the week. 803-450-0086. Got a lot of people hanging out with us on Facebook. Mark Childress stopping by. You know him, host of the Mark Childress Show. But more importantly, man, what a series they have put together. Oh, man. Clemson's greatest games. If you haven't seen it, I hate to tell you what you've been missing, but you've really been missing it. And so from that standpoint, you got to check that thing out. They do a tremendous job with it. Edward says he hates fries unless they're from Arby's or Bojangles. That's a man that likes seasoning. I would also say that perhaps I would just taking this on a hunch. I would say that Edward probably also would like Zaxby's fries, but you got to order extra seasoning salt on those, Edward. That is a rule there as well. Going to be hooking up here in hour number 2. Checking my notes here with Tim Bray. During the break, I remember what I wanted to ask him about. The games in Japan. Clemson's matchups in Japan against Duke and Wake Forest back in the 80s. Find out a little bit more about that. Tim was still very early on in his career at that point in Tiger Town. But definitely should have some insight into those games. Now, before the break, I told you that there was one league that is already announcing that they are requiring COVID-19 testing before games, getting a plan of action in place and set forth. And it is the AAC, the American Athletic Conference. They want to be in the Power 5 as much as anybody. They want to become the Power 6. But here's what their commissioner said yesterday. The AAC is a league that is committed to meeting or exceeding all guidelines and standards recommended by the NCAA and its member institutions in all fall sports, including football. Testing protocols that they announced will apply throughout the regular and bowl seasons. He said we are not going to play non-conference opponents who aren't doing what we're doing at a minimum level. We're looking at basketball and Olympic sports as well. So yes, there will be minimum standards and they'll be stringent. You can go above it, but you cannot go below it. And we're confident it will be consistent with what other Power 5 or what other power conferences are doing. If you are the AAC, you have to stay out in front. You have to be the first. You can't. They are a league that is already fighting to be recognized by the Power 5 as a member institution. They want to be a part of that group. They don't want to be a part of the group of 5. They want to be a part of the Power 5. They want to go to a Power 6. And one way you can do that, if you are the AAC, is by making sure that you are thinking ahead and trying to position yourself for the opportunity to have other conferences look at you for direction, to have other conferences feel comfortable playing you, because if teams are going to going to conference games only and eliminating non-conference games, the AAC is a league that certainly everybody relies on playing the Power 5, but that's where they get a chance to make a little noise. That's where they get a chance to say, hey, look at us. And look what we're doing against Power 5 teams. I mean, if App State goes to Michigan and wins, that's fantastic. But if an AAC team like South Florida goes to Michigan and wins, it's gigantic, because it could ultimately mean that if Jeff Scott's squad goes undefeated, they got to win in a Power 5 opponent's backyard. I mean, those are the kind of victories that UCF was missing a couple of years ago that may have given them enough punch to maybe be in the college football playoff. At least to be considered, legitimately considered. So the American Athletic Conference, in my opinion, needs to step out in front on this. Needs to stay in front on it. Needs to try to lead the way. Because if they can do that, then if and when those first conversations start to step out about, okay, who else our team's going to play, if Clemson has to play South Carolina in football, and if that ends up working out, other teams that don't have those traditional out of conference rivalry games are going to be looking for people. And rest assured that South Florida and Cincinnati and those programs would prefer it be them that get picked than have these schools go play somebody else. So you just got to kind of stay in front and hope. I'll tell you where you don't want to be if you're the AAC, and this is the smartest move on their part. You don't want to be lagging behind. You don't want to be in the conversation of, well, we got our stuff together here in the Power 5. What's the AAC doing? Do we know? You'd rather be in the driver's seat as the AAC versus being in the passenger side. Or even the back seat or the trunk. You want to drive those conversations. 803-450-0086. 803-450-0086. We'll talk with Tim Beret coming up around the bend. I can't believe an hour's in the book already, but it is. We're going to keep our poll question up. Good burger, bad fries. Do you hate that? Or do you hate a bad burger with good fries? Which one do you hate the most? Again, you can text us anytime, any place, anywhere. 803-450-0086. The show that shakes the Southland rolls along on a Thursday afternoon across the great state of South Carolina in the midst of our 7th year on the airwaves. Stay with us here for more.
Clemson Sports Talk with Lawton Swan on Columbia's home for sports. Fox Sports Radio 1400. Fox Sports Radio 1400 traffic.
Big problems this afternoon. I-20 eastbound near the Broad River Road exit. The roadway is partially blocked. A couple of other tie-ups. Piney Grove at Willstell Road and a wreck Platte Springs at Neal Drive. The 103.5 FM WVOC traffic tip line is 343-1055.
This report is sponsored by Dell. Power your passions during Dell's Cyber Savings event with up to $400 off stunning tech like XPS laptops and Alienware systems, redefining what's possible with 10th Gen Intel Core processors. Save on electronics plus free shipping on everything. Ask for Intel when you call 800-BY-DELL.
Group training is a fun, accountable way to get in shape. I'm Coach Stewart of Dynamic Health and Fitness. Come train with one of our special groups today. We will focus on giving you the support you need to get in shape. We use the Dynamic Mob, featuring intervals of cardio, functional training, and strength training to change your lifestyle to make you healthy. Get started today at any of our locations in Lexington or West Columbia, or call 803-408-4060 or online at dynamichealthclub.com.
Hi, this is Kelly Nash. You and I have been radio friends for a number of years, and now it's going to pay off for you with a free gift. We've got a special going on with Zero Res. They will do 3 rooms of carpet, cleaned better than you've ever had a carpet cleaned in your life. Just $119. Now that free gift I mentioned. Just say my name when you're booking and get the hallway done for free. Call 803-262-4020 or ZeroResColumbia.com. Zero Res. Spell it backwards or forwards. It's the right way to clean. Ask about their air duct cleaning special as well.
When you get in your car, you need the best directions to get where you want to be.
Will arrive at your retirement in 8
The same is true for your retirement. You need a voice to guide you along the way. Join Pat Struby for Save Your Retirement with Pat Struby. Pat's 18 years of experience can help make your retirement journey feel like a drive down easy street.
Arriving at your retirement.
Saturdays, 6 a.m. on Fox Sports Radio, and Saturdays at noon and Sundays at 9 on 560 WVOC for Save Your Retirement with Pat Struby.
Hey everyone, this is Ray.
And Marianne from Absolute Glass, your local high-end auto glass specialist in the Midlands.
You can be confident if the high-end car dealers trust us to get the job done right, you can too.
Visit AbsoluteGlassInc.com for all your auto, home, and business glass needs, or call us at 803-951-7200.
And don't forget, We do home windows, patio doors, tabletop, shower doors, mirrors, and storefronts. If you can see through it, we can do it.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique, but you are not alone. MAD is here to help. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org. That's MADD.org.
It only takes a minute to find out if you may have prediabetes, and you can do it at doihaveprediabetes.org. But you're probably not going to. Nope. I'm sure you've got a perfectly good excuse. Kids, work. I get it. You're busy. So what better time than now? Let's begin. Raise one finger if you're a man. Ladies, none yet. Oh, count in your head if you're driving. Now, 3 more fingers for everyone over 60, 2 over 50, 1 over 40, 1 more if you're not physically active, another finger if anyone in your family has type 2 diabetes, another if you've got high blood pressure. If you're overweight, raise another finger, 2 if you're very overweight, and 3 if you're really overweight. You've just taken the world's first audio prediabetes test. And if you're holding up 5 or more fingers, visit doihaveprediabetes.org or talk to your doctor. There's no excuse because prediabetes can be reversed.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its pre-diabetes awareness partners.
Fox Sports Radio 1400, WCOS Columbia, an iHeart radio station.
It's time for Clemson Sports Talk with Lawton Swan.
Just call me Swanee.
Tiger style. Tiger style.
It is hour number 2. That's drop time right here on the show that shakes the Southland. Clemson Sports Talk. Lawton Swan, glad to have you here on the program today and getting set to be joined by our good friend Tim Beret, who has been a part of this program, man. We've been here 7 years. Tim's been a part of it for quite some time. Of course, he retired from his role up at Clemson just a couple of years ago as the SID for the football team, and getting a chance to dig into so many of his memories and his expertise in Clemson is something that we love to do on the show. Tim, what's going on, man? It's been a week since we've had you on the program, but with so much going on, sometimes it can feel like it's been a month.
Yeah, you're right. How you doing, Lawton? I'm just actually riding back with Don Munson. We just played a little round of golf up in Cashiers, North Carolina.
Okay, how'd you guys hit them today?
Too often, but it was a beautiful day. It was a beautiful day. We had a good time.
Tim Beret here on the program, and Tim, earlier in the week, somewhere along the way, I got into a conversation with one of our guests, and we ended up sort of talking about Clemson's 2 matchups that they played in Japan back in the early 80s. I know that you were a part of the Clemson athletic department at that time. Did you make those trips?
No, actually, I didn't go to either one because I was with basketball was my kind of priority. So in 1982, I showed you how crazy it was. The Clemson basketball team was in Alaska at the Alaska Shootout, and the football team was in Japan to play Wake Forest in the football game. So Jim Phillips did the football game, and I did the 3 basketball games. And
Tim Beret here on Clemson Sports Talk as he and the voice of the Clemson Tigers, Don Munson, make their way back to Tiger Town after a round of golf this afternoon. And, I look back at those 2 games, one matchup against Wake Forest, the other against the Duke Blue Devils, and I just think about the oddness of it all, and what went in sort of behind the scenes of those 2 games taking place. We lost Tim. Tim's down, and it sounded like he was. If you're making your way back, you know this. If you've ever traveled from Cashiers to Clemson, you know you're going to hit those types of pockets every once in a while. So we'll give we'll give Tim Beret just a few more minutes to get a little closer to Clemson so that we can chat with him about some of those games back in the day, some of those fantastic memories. And I'll actually have to call him back. I was just thinking that he might call us back, but it's gonna send him directly to voicemail. We don't want to do that to Tim Beret, so we'll hop back on the phone with him and see if we can't get up with him. But nonetheless, these two games are interesting to me, and we've got Tim back on the line now. Tim, sorry about that. I've driven from Cashers to Clemson. I know what you're going through right now on the roads in terms of
we're almost
service.
back into civilization. We're only about 5 minutes back from Seneca, so hopefully the line's going to hold there.
Yeah, I heard that. Well, let me ask you, do you know the background on these two matchups? And just thinking from the odd standpoint of playing college football games in Japan, where did you first or when did you first hear that these games would take place?
Yeah, actually, after we won the national championship in 1981, almost immediately the athletic department was contacted by the people who ran this game. There had been some games played in Japan before the time that Clemson won. Back in '79, Notre Dame played Miami over there. I think the first game was in '78. So when Clemson won the national championship in '81, they really wanted Clemson because we were the national championship. And to be honest with you, there was an unbelievable fascination with William Perry. And I think the fact that, William was on the team had a lot to do with them inviting Clemson to come. I actually remember having some magazines in the file that were in Japanese that had Williams' picture on the cover of the magazine. So I think that had a lot to do with it. And so basically it was whoever Clemson could get to go over there with them and move a game to the end of the season. We did not want to play a game in the middle of the season in Japan, obviously, because of all the travel that would set you behind for whoever you would be playing the next week. So it's one of the few times that Clemson has played a game after the South Carolina game at the end of the season for both of these games in 1982 against Wake Forest and 1991 against Duke.
And you bring that up. I believe was it the 2001 season? Didn't Clemson make up a game following the South Carolina game? Was that a matchup as well against Duke? Is that right?
Yes. Yeah, that was due to the 9/11. All the college games in the country were postponed that were supposed to be played on the 15th of September. And so a lot of them were rescheduled at different times. And the only time we could make it work was to play Duke after the South Carolina game. Of course, there was no ACC championship game in that year. So we actually played Duke. I think it was December 1st, 2001.
1982, the Mirage Bowl is what they called it in Tokyo, Japan. Clemson defeats Wake Forest 21-17 and wins the Atlantic Coast Conference Championship in Asia, which is something I don't think anybody ever thought they would say. And looking back on those days, if my memory serves me correctly, Clemson would frequently buy out those games with Wake Forest and Duke and have an extra home game every season. What happened to that taking place in college football, in your opinion, and why don't we see more of that? Or did something change where it's you can't do that anymore?
Yeah, it became a situation. In 1987, we actually played 8 home games. And, obviously we made it financially worth the while for the opposition and for the teams from the ACC. But for the long haul, I think opposing teams saw that was such a negative in recruiting. You lost a home game. You weren't good enough or you had to do that financially. So I think just the other ACC schools said that's not a good idea. We can't do that anymore. So it was more the overall effect that the programs and the other programs in the ACC saw that it just was not a good idea long term. While it might help them financially in that 1 year that they did it, I know Wake Forest did it and a couple of times. So, of course, if you're going to have a neutral site game, then that's a different thing. You know, Clemson and Georgia are supposed to play in Charlotte next year. I think both teams are supposed to get like $5 million for having it. So we'll have one less home game next year in 2021. We'll only have 6 home games.
Tim Bray on the show that shakes the Southland every Thursday, chatting it up about the history of Clemson football and Clemson sports in general. And then a few years later, Tim, in 1991, Clemson and Duke played in Japan. Now, at that point in your tenure, you'd been around quite a while. I mean, that first game, you'd only been around 3 or 4 seasons. So obviously the inner workings of that one were a little bit different. What kind of drove the narrative of having that second matchup played over in Japan? And the other thing I would ask you, even though you weren't there, were these games sparsely attended by Clemson fans and mostly would it have been Japanese fans that were there, or did a lot of Tigers make that trek?
Yeah, I don't remember a lot of Clemson people going to the game, but it was a big deal in Japan. I mean, I'm pretty sure the 1982 game, the official attendance listed was 80,000.
80,000, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was listed as 80,000. Now, this 91 game, I think, was played in an indoor facility that didn't have quite as many as a capacity, but you know, they continued having this one game a year in Japan, and you know, it had been very successful when we went 9 years previously, and you know, when the decision had to be made in 1990 who to take, obviously Clemson had been doing very well and had 5 straight years of just 2 losses. So you know, they invited us again and again. It was a game that was moved from the middle of the season to the end of the last game of the season, and we played Duke and won the game. Again, we had to score. I think we scored 26 points in the fourth quarter to win, and we actually needed that to win an ACC championship too.
Your mentor, Bob Bradley, I've seen some photos of him sightseeing and everything in Japan. I have to imagine, you know, when he's in that role at Clemson, he's not thinking at any point along the way that, you know, these travels are going to take me to Japan to watch Clemson football, and just the scope of that continues to be the thing for me that really kind of rocks my mind, because I guess it's so unusual, right? I mean, there's a lot of normalcy in sports, but college football in Japan, it almost feels like when the NBA has a game that they play in Mexico, or even maybe they'll play a matchup in China to try to generate international interest. And it would seem that from that standpoint, this would have been a nightmare in terms of the logistics.
Yeah, an awful lot went into it. Both of them. In fact, as I remember, one of them, Bob Bradley forgot to get a passport or slipped his mind or something. And so Brom Thurman actually had to pull some strings and get him a passport in time for him to get on the plane.
Oh my gracious. That's great.
So yeah, there were a lot of detail. I know Fred Hoover, of course, who's just celebrated his 90th birthday. He did an awful lot of work for both of them, but especially that first time in 1992.
Tim Bray here on the show that shakes the Southland. Tim, we'll turn our attention away from Clemson for just a minute. And I know that you've shared your thoughts on COVID-19 and the college football season with us quite a bit, but really some, I would call it sad news, I think, today for some of our fellow football fans in the state of South Carolina, as the MEAC announced that they weren't going to be playing football in the fall, which means that the season for SC State right now has been canceled. There's no indication whether or not they will play a season in the spring. And I know that everybody wants to see college football. I know that everybody loves the sport. But what was your initial sort of reaction when you saw that news come down the line earlier today?
Yeah, I guess it's the third major conference that has done that.
I believe the
I
first
still think-
scholarship conference, though.
Oh, first scholarship. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it happening because of the expense that's involved in to properly do tests and testing and make it safe. So I think that's the key that, the Power Fives pretty much have the money to do that, but there's a lot of, that some of the schools that aren't as well off, at some of the different conferences that aren't Power Five, lack the funds to properly do the testing, and that's got as much to do with it as anything.
Yeah, I didn't even think of it from that standpoint. And for these schools, I also think, too, unlike the Power Five, they don't have nearly, and we kind of touched on this a little bit with the Ivy League last week, but they don't have nearly the financial loss of not being on television that continues to drive them towards whatever result. They can go ahead and maybe bow out and make a decision in advance. And really, I don't know what happened. Some of those players played at this state. Some of those players were teammates with guys at Clemson in high school and other programs, around the state in high school. And I mean, it just hits so close to home, I feel like, with SC State announcing that today. And I know there have been a lot of people that have been affected by it. Tim, well, look, I appreciate you being a part of the show today and each and every Thursday. Let Don know that we look forward to getting him back on during the college football season, and hopefully we'll get there sooner rather than later, and looking forward to catching up with you again next Thursday.
He was the chauffeur that allowed me to be on your show today, so props to Don.
Look, hey, Tim, when you're big time, you get a chauffeur. That's the way it goes, right?
How about that?
All right, Tim, take care.
Good. Great guy. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Tim Beret here on the show that shakes the Southland. Yeah, I didn't. Going back to those games for a few minutes, the Tokyo Bowl and the Coca-Cola Classic, I think were the names of those two games between Clemson and Duke and Clemson and Wake Forest. I think when you look at the calendar or the schedule, and you see, hey, your team's playing overseas, you're sort of taken aback to a degree because it's so unusual. It's still very much, even for me today, to think about, if Clemson rolled out their schedule next year, and that schedule included a matchup against, you pick the squad, right? You pick the team, but it's in Japan. You'd go, what? Clemson and Florida State playing in Japan? I'll tell you this. And as Tim said, he didn't get to go because of basketball. If you are a Clemson fan that went to that game, or either or, and you have photos and you have maybe memorabilia, swag, whatever. I know there were posters in Japan. I actually saw one earlier on social media. Was digging through some stuff to take a look, and all this Japanese writing, and then the Coca-Cola Bowl, Clemson University versus Duke. And so from that standpoint, if you were there and you have a story, I'd love for you to share it with us. You can email me, Lawton, Lawton, at ClemsonSportsTalk.com, or text us 803-450-0086. I'm genuinely intrigued by photos, memorabilia, little things that you would have picked up along the way. I mean, look, I can probably open up. Yeah, so there you go. Doesn't take me long, to dig into my drawer beside me and find a little pin from like the 2017 ACC championship game. I mean, little things like that. Stuff that you would have gotten, because that's a special opportunity. And I do wonder, and if you went, I would also like to know if you can recall, mean, how many Clemson fans did it feel like were there? Like when Clemson shows up in New Orleans, Louisiana for the national championship game, or when Clemson shows up in Nashville, Tennessee for the Music City Bowl or whatever. I mean, there's a lot of Tiger fans around. You can feel it. I mean, was there enough orange in the house for you to go, all right, we had some fans show up, or was it, not much to it? And also, now, I could probably find this out, but I'll pose it anyway because we're going into a break and you might know the answer and I don't want to have to look it up. But were those games on television? I feel like Clemson was on probation that 82 game, and I don't think it could be on TV. But was that 91 Duke game on television? Like, do you remember tuning in and watching that game? I'm old enough. Yeah, I'm old enough that I should have watched it, but I have no recollection of it. What I'm going to do during the break, though, I'm going to check YouTube and see if I can find any videos of those games. I don't know that I've ever watched a snap of either one of those matchups. Not that I'm aware of. 803-450-0086. Tim Beret, legendary Clemson SID, joins us every Thursday to take a walk down memory lane. I'm just thankful I recalled what I was going to ask him about. That was a positive for me.
Here's your chance to win $1,000. Text the nationwide keyword BILLS to 200-200. You'll get a confirmation text and info. Standard data and message rates apply in this nationwide contest. That's BILLS to 200-200. $1,000 in your hand.
That would help out a ton.
Winner.
It's amazing.
After winner.
This will be very helpful.
After winner.
Definitely keep me going until I hopefully go back to work soon.
You could be next.
This helps a lot.
Your chance to win $1,000 is coming up.
Listen for your cue to text on Fox Sports Radio 1400. Fox Sports Radio 1400 traffic.
Look out for a wreck this afternoon on Brighton Hill Road at Park Lane. We also have an accident on Oak Drive at Highway 1. If you're stuck, use the 103.5 FM WVOC traffic tip line 343-1055.
This report is sponsored by the TJ Martell Foundation. The TJ Martell Foundation is there for cancer patients. Help make a difference in the fight against cancer. Join the music industry to help fund the doctors who will help your family and friends fight cancer. Donate today at tjmartell.org.
Lawton Swan here, and I know in sports we're always talking about the big guy. Well, let me tell you, when you're buying a car, you don't need that. What you need to do is head down to Orangeburg to my good friends at Ferry Chevrolet Cadillac. 4 generations of family-owned business right there at Ferry Chevrolet. No dock fees, no tricks, straightforward pricing in a low-pressure environment you'll love. Check them out online, ferrychevrolet.com, or call them 803-536-1600. It's Ferry Chevrolet Cadillac, just a short 30-minute drive off of exit 145A in Orangeburg.
For 28 years, the professional staff of the Hobbs Group and Hobbs Group Advisors has been dedicated to helping others achieve their financial goals by delivering quality, objective financial and accounting solutions to a diverse client base of individuals and businesses all over South Carolina. We offer tax and audit services, bookkeeping, payroll, litigation support, employee benefits, personal financial planning, investment management, and insurance services. Please call us at 803-799-0555 or visit our website, hobbscpa.com, to learn more about our people and services.
At the Samuels Reynolds Law Firm, we've seen how terrible accidents turn lives upside down, and we're proud to be the lawyers our clients depend on during their toughest moments. I'm Jason Reynolds. Call me when your family is faced with any serious injury or death.
And I'm Stephen Samuels. When you're hurt at work, I go to work, getting you the medical treatment and workers' compensation you depend on. We have the experience and passion you need when you need it most.
Samuels Reynolds. True injuries, true lawyers. 779-4000.
Orangutans. They're beautiful, playful, and majestic, and disappearing. Every day, as many as 20 orangutans vanish. They starve to death when their homes are destroyed, or are killed when they stray into villages in search of food. International Animal Rescue is fighting for the survival of the critically endangered orangutan, but we can't do it without you. Please visit internationalanimalrescue.org and help us save orangutans before it's too late. That's internationalanimalrescue.org.
Families affected by disasters urgently need support. Help the American Red Cross provide meals and shelter to those affected by disasters, big and small. Donate to Red Cross Disaster Relief. Go to redcross.org or call 1-800-RED-CROSS.
Come on, smile. Oh, honey, he's still not smiling.
Maybe he's not a smiler.
Yeah, maybe he's just not a happy baby.
Maybe he's just being a boy.
Or maybe he's teething.
Maybe it's just a phase.
Maybe he has autism, and we can definitely do something to help.
Maybe is all you need to find out more about autism. No big, joyful smiles by 6 months is one early sign. Learn the others at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Stay on top of today's pop culture. Ace and TJ Mornings and today's hit music all day on 104.7 WNOK.
The show that shakes the Southland, Clemson Sports Talk. Lawton Swan with you here on a beautiful, beautiful Thursday afternoon. I looked and I didn't see anything with Clemson playing against either team on YouTube. I couldn't find a highlight, a clip. I don't know if those things don't exist, and I'll keep digging. If you can find it and you were there, if you have any memories or photos, share them again. 803-450-0086, 803-450-0086, because I am intrigued by those moments and by those games, because as interesting as they are to kind of bring up and talk about, it would really be a lot of fun to take a look and see some of those things. In digging, what I did come across, so you guys may recall My Blood Runneth Orange. For many years, he would post videos, and there's a great archive of the things that he's posted in the past up on YouTube. And one of the things I just found a few minutes ago, I want to just enjoy some of this with you for a minute. It was the after Clemson's Gator Bowl victory back in 1978 over Ohio State, of course. That was when the first ever Danny Ford show took place. Listen to a little of this audio, and listen to a young Danny Ford, just 30 maybe at the time. Take it over, and here's Jim Phillips and Danny Ford, the intro after Clemson's victory over Ohio State in the 1978 Gator Bowl.
Match between Clemson and Ohio State University in the Gator Bowl, with commentary by Coach Danny Ford and the voice of the Tigers, Jim Phillips. Gator Bowl 78 Highlights is brought to you by Southern Bank,
the Shirt Sleeve Bank,
Carolina Pride Fine Meats,
Pet
Gourmet Federal Land Bank, and Production Credit Association. And by Miller Highlights.
All right, listen to Danny Ford here and Jim Phillips out of the gates. This is good. This is quality. They're getting
American
ready to talk, right here.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the first ever Danny Ford Show. And what a show it's going to be, because, well, Danny, what can I say? You worked out very, very hard in Florida. You led up to a game that was played last Friday night. That's not the biggest night of your life up to now. I'd like to know what is.
I'll tell you, Jim, Christmas came early at the Ford's house, and it's been a good Christmas, good year. No doubt about it, the biggest day of my life was last Friday night, and we were very, very surprised and that everything happened the way it happened, but we were very, very pleased that everything turned out the way it did.
I don't think you were necessarily surprised. You'd worked very hard. I was fortunate enough to be with the team all of the time you spent in Daytona, and I could sense something beginning to happen there in those two-a-days.
Oh, I tell you, we worked as hard as we could work, and it was one of the things that we wanted to do. That we had such a long vacation from South Carolina game, we didn't do enough work before then, so we went and planned a hard practice down there, and I think that probably proved that the outcome of the game the way we worked down in Daytona. And then when we came to Jacksonville, of course, we let up and let the kids get their feet back under them, and they played super, and they just did an outstanding job.
Well,
there you go, Danny Ford, the first Danny Ford show. MBRO, My Blood Runneth Orange, has it up over on his YouTube channel. Hearing, just for a second there, hearing Coach Ford so young and nervous. Oh, he's nervous. So you could see it. You could read it. You read him like a book. But, looking back on those great games in Japan and thinking about those moments and what, really, I think from the standpoint of fans and the exposure of Clemson, I can remember when I was growing up thinking about that 82 game, feeling like because Clemson had won the national title, that was a part of it. You heard Tim Bray bring up William Perry. I know people have said that many people in Japan thought William Perry might have been a sumo wrestler and not a football player, just given the sheer size that he had back in his heyday in Tiger Town. But really, thinking more so about that 91 game is the one that's a little disappointing for me, because I'm old enough that I should have either known. I mean, I obviously watched and recall games that took place prior to that one. I mean, I was at the Clemson, South Carolina game in 1989, 45-0 Williams-Brice Stadium. I remember Clemson taking on Illinois. I mean, you can go through all the games in so many of those seasons, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90. But for whatever reason, that game, I have zero recollection, whether it's because it took place after the South Carolina game and it sort of felt like the end of the year, and whatever reason, I don't know. And I do wonder, if any of you went, if you have evidence, photo evidence, video evidence, memories, trinkets, memorabilia, hit us up, because I would love to hear from you here on the show and take a look at that stuff. And I'll definitely head over. I'll definitely head over to Facebook and see if you guys have been chatting it up about that. By the way, Bad Burger with good fries is the thing people on Facebook hate the most. And over on Twitter, similar results. Bad burger, good fries. I'm on the opposite side of that. It's okay. I don't have to be the majority. I'll still be happy. I hate bad fries. I'm more likely, I'll be honest, I think I'm more likely to return it. If it was just terrible fries and a bad burger, I'm more likely to go, nah. Maybe my discussion on what is a bad burger too could be brought into question by some of you. 803-450-0086. Again, the biggest news in the state of South Carolina. SC State will not play football this fall. They may not play football this year. Tim Bray made a unique and insightful point here on the program, and it's the reason we have guests on this show, because they bring a little different flavor to the conversation. And he said that there's a good possibility that some of these smaller programs will not play because of the cost of testing. That's a unique statement.
At Stanley Martin Homes, your life is our blueprint. For over 53 years, Stanley Martin has been building homes to fit your lifestyle. Visit any of our local models for a self-guided tour or schedule a personal appointment with one of our neighborhood sales managers. Summertime is the best time for moving into your new Stanley Martin home. And now you can design your house with the click of a mouse online at StanleyMartin.com. An equal housing opportunity.
Hey guys, Lawton Swan here. I was hanging out in the backyard with my son Mason a couple of years ago, and he said, "Dad, you're the best father ever." When I asked him why, he said, "Because when I go outside to play, I don't get eaten up by the bugs anymore." Imagine that, me a hero, when all I did was call my good buddy Trey Powell at Mosquito Joe. With their routine service plan, no more bugs and no more bites. Make yourself the family hero. Call Mosquito Joe today, 803-223-7916. That's 803-223-7916. Outside is fun again.
At AAA Heating and Air, get an instant manufacturer's rebate of $1,500 plus 0% financing for qualified applicants and a 15-year parts and labor warranty. Call 677-1500 today.
AAA Air when you need us. AAA Heating and Air.
Effective June 15th, all Comet bus riders must wear a mask or face covering to access buses and facilities until further notice. For more information, please call 255-7100 or go online to catchthecomet.org.
Clearing out tonight, but staying warm, lows mid-70s. Tomorrow, sunny and hot, highs mid to upper 90s. For Channel 25 ABC Columbia, I'm Chief Meteorologist John Farley.
This report is sponsored by Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique, but you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
iHeartRadio is the #1 choice for music, radio, and podcasts, all in one. No one makes it easier to hear everything you love in one free app.
I'm so done with using a bunch of apps.
iHeart has it all.
All right there together in one place.
Radio,
Podcasts.
got all the music.
I think that's my favorite thing.
You get it all on the app.
No other app gives you the all-in-one experience. All free.
If you're not one of the tens of millions who have the app, download iHeartRadio for free today and start listening.
iHeartRadio.
Who said that?
Me, down here.
What are you, a yellow booger?
I'm a banana slug, Steven.
Well, what are you doing in my room?
I'm your sense of adventure. Don't you remember me? Don't you know that we miss you?
Miss me? Who misses me?
You know, all your friends in the forest. The trees, the pond, that little fort that you made out of branches. We all miss you.
Mom took me to the forest last year.
I'm a slug, Steven. It took me a long time to get here.
Oh, I guess that makes sense.
The forest is not that far away. Have an adventure today. I'm sure your mom would take you.
You're right. I should get out. I want to have fun. Play in puddles, catch frogs, and climb trees. Hey, Mom!
Yeah, hon?
Steven, what is that in your hand? It's my sense of adventure, Mom. It's telling me we need to get out of the house and have some fun in nature today.
Come to the forest where the more adventurous you lives. Check out discovertheforest.org for cool places nearby. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Mothers Against Drunk Driving supports victims of drunk driving, drug driving, and underage drinking at no charge. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org. That's MADD.org.
Facts
with a sprinkle of opinion.
The Rundown with Rob, weekdays at 3 on Fox Sports Radio 1400.
Clemson Sports Talk on a Thursday. Lawton Swan hanging out with you. The Washington Redskins, you know, they're going to be retiring that name, looking for different names. I tweeted the other day the Red Tails, which was a name that would honor the Tuskegee Airmen. We've touched on, you know, there's kind of the thoughts on that, but that news for owner Daniel Snyder, not nearly the worst news of the week for him, as 15 women who have worked with the Redskins allege sexual harassment by former scouts and members of Daniel Snyder's inner circle. Now, you might say, well, how does that necessarily tie to Dan Snyder? And I have not had a chance to read the entire piece, but if you find that Snyder was complicit in that type of behavior, or even a part of it, not great. So that's the latest, just being released by the Washington Post a few minutes ago. Again, 15 women who worked for the Redskins alleged sexual harassment by former scouts and members of Daniel Snyder's inner circle. So there we go. That news just coming to us. 803-450-0086. Tonight on the ACC's Instagram account, Clemson basketball star Amir Sims will be, I guess, I don't know if you call it hosting or running it or whatever you want to call it, but Amir Sims will be on there actively engaging with people. So keep your eyeballs open for that one. The ACC Network. I think it's in the ACC's feed. I believe it is the ACC Network's feed. So make sure you get a chance if you want to hear from Amir Sims and several others. Said special guest. I didn't get my invite, Amir. I didn't get my invite. I feel like a pretty special guest. Go check that out, though, this evening. It'll be up and running about 8 o'clock, I think they said. Now, I do want to get to another topic here on the program before we get into the final segment in just a little bit, because this is important. We've put the poll question up over on our website, ClemsonSportsTalk.com, as you are well aware, asking you if Clemson and South Carolina will play this year. We know with the decisions of the Pac-12 and the Big Ten that there are still questions about what college football seasons will look like for everybody else out there. And when the news started coming down the line, the teams were going to non-conference. Excuse me. Why is it so much easier to say non-conference games only? When teams were going to conference games only, you got the feeling because, well, now schedules are opening up, and, well, if you already had a game with the Big Ten scheduled or the Pac-12 scheduled, well, who are you going to schedule it with? So just play conference games only across the board. I mean, that was kind of the thing that was a trending topic about a week ago, but maybe we should pump the brakes on that. And so for those of you out there that are hoping for college football with matchups between Clemson and South Carolina, or Georgia and Georgia Tech, or Florida and Florida State, I may have some relatively positive news for you, and we'll pull it up here if you're watching the show over on Facebook, on Twitter, or on YouTube. Hopefully that will come up. Did that come up? I don't think it did. But I know you see something, but I don't think you see what I want you to see. Huh. Well, that's interesting. I was hoping you'd see something a little bit different if you're watching the show. But anyway, Arkansas's athletic director said that the ACC, the Big 12, and the SEC are all on the same page that they are going to be patient with scheduling for fall football. That means that non-conference games are still being discussed, particularly those rivalry games. Anyone want to say, quote, it seems to make sense Clemson should play South Carolina. That would be labeled as a positive. I'm going to refresh that feed so I can pull it up. Athletic Director Hunter Urich said that it appeared that those games would potentially be could potentially still be discussed because of their willingness to be patient. Double O says, dude, the Gamecocks don't want to play us. Oh, man. So that's what we're looking at right now in terms of, I guess, college football in Clemson and South Carolina, is the possibility that Clemson and South Carolina could end up playing because of the patience of the leagues. And I think you would take that in a second as a Clemson Tiger fan. Just patience overall. I'll see if I can't figure out how to get that that tweet to show up for you. I know there's a way to do it, but I'm falling asleep at the wheel. 803-450-0086. Don't you fall asleep at the wheel, Swanee. Not me. No, I'm talking to you. Don't you fall asleep at the wheel. But perhaps Clemson and South Carolina will play this season based off of that.
How dare you fill my head with such loathsome propaganda?
That's what they're saying. The Big 12, the SEC, and the ACC are going to practice patience. They're going to practice patience. And perhaps we do see the Clemson Tigers and the South Carolina Gamecocks on the gridiron. When we get back, final segment coming up. We mentioned the Washington Redskins. You know, they've been in the news for their name. Well, another school, a rival to a degree, their mascot name being challenged right now. We'll tell you who. And for some of you, simply because you don't like this school, you're going to say, man, I hope it happens. I'll tell you who after this.
Community grows, its hospital should grow too. And that's just what we're doing at Lexington Medical Center. We recently launched the largest hospital expansion project in South Carolina history. Our new 10-story patient tower will help us take better care of patients, including the tiniest infants who need special attention. It will also make room for the growing number of patients who need surgery and intensive care. At Lexington Medical Center, our mission to serve our community never wavers. We're here when you need us today, and we'll be there when you need us tomorrow.
Let me tell you who I trust to protect my home and my family. Modern Exterminating. Hey, it's Lawton Swan, and when you need top quality service from a team that knows what bugs you, call Modern Exterminating. 765-2315. They're locally owned and offer a full complement of pest elimination services, including complete pest control, termite plans, moisture control, and more. Check out Modern Exterminating online at pestfreesc.com or give them a call today. 765-2315. Modern Exterminating. They know what bugs you.
Tiger fans, look no further than the Tiger Sports Shop in Clemson for all your game day needs. Since 1974, they've brought you everything Clemson for the Clemson fan. With quality brands such as Nike, Antigua, Cutter & Buck, and Champion, plus many more. From hats to t-shirts to tailgate, the Tiger Sports Shop has all the Clemson gear a true Tiger fan needs. With 2 convenient game day locations in Tigertown, shop where I shop at Dr. I.M. Ibrahim's Tiger Sports Shop. They fuel the passion of Tiger fans everywhere. Check them out online, tigersports.com.
Hi, I'm Alicia Kaufman Quinton. My daddy, Billy Kaufman, opened Kaufman's Meat Plant at our present location in 1955. My family still works hard every day to ensure fresh quality cuts of beef, pork, and poultry. How about a tasty T-bone, ribeye, or New York strip steak? But to order at Kaufman's Meat Place, just look for the signs near the intersection of US 1 and I-20 in Lexington. Call us at 356-ORDER. Kaufman's Meat Place, when you want the very best your money can buy.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school or even let alone go to college, so I'm trying to break that barrier.
My daughter Brooklyn was also a motivation for me to go back to school.
Every day after work, went straight to school, studied hard, and it paid off.
At age 26, Kareem finished his high school diploma.
I could not have done it alone. I feel like if I didn't have anyone to push me, I wouldn't even bother to do it. I got one milestone down the drain, and now I got to work on the next. I see the future is really bright for me. I feel like it doesn't matter the age, as long as you go back and get it done. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
No one gets a diploma alone. You have more support than you realize. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved. And 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
Fox Sports Radio 1400. Online at foxsportsradio1400.com. On your phone with the iHeartRadio app and on hundreds of devices like Alexa, Google Home, Xbox, and Sonos. An iHeartRadio station.
what have you done for me lately? It's a fair question. Just don't lose sight of the bigger picture. Don't forget history. Lucky for us at Clemson, the answer to the questions, what have you done for me lately, and what have you done always, are the same. We win.
Final segment on a Thursday. Lawton Swan, thank you for being a part of the program. 803-450-0086. 803-450-0086. That's the text line. That's the way you can be a part of the program as well if you call and leave us a message. All of those ways for you to hang out with us here. And hopefully that news out of Arkansas is right. I mean, that would be, I tried to figure out how to pull it up, but I couldn't get it to work. So the NCAA, though, however, this news came out earlier today, is issuing their next set of return to sports guidelines. The third installment of these guidelines outlines the daily health checks, testing within 72 hours of competition for high-risk and contact sports. That's right in line with what the AAC is already saying that they will put together. The NCAA's chief medical officer says any recommendation on a pathway towards a safe return to sport will depend on a national trajectory of COVID-19 spread. The idea of sport resocialization is predicated on a scenario of reduced or flattened infection rates. So, again, I think this falls right in line with schools right now. As schools are beginning to put out, not colleges, I'm talking about schools in general, are starting to put out sort of, their idea of what things are going to look like. But the problem is, if you are data-driven, which I am, which they are, the numbers don't crunch very well at this point. And it's not something that I think people necessarily are excited about, the numbers that you see, even though the death toll is down. The infection rates are so high right now that it's going to continue to concern a lot of people. And I understand that. I mean, I'm a numbers guy. And so I don't think there's any situation where right now people go, yeah, you know what, I feel like the numbers are so low. Like if the infection rates are super low, it makes things a lot better. But where they are right now, it's pretty difficult. 803-450-0086. That's your number. 803-450-0086. You can hang out with us anytime, any place, anywhere. We posed a question about, do you like great hamburgers with bad fries? Which do you hate most? A great hamburger with terrible fries or a terrible burger with great fries? And Double O chimed in via the phone lines. He did what I've been asking you to do. Make a call, leave a message. Here's what Double O had to say.
Lawton's Double O. Don't want any hamburgers, don't want no fries. I need a steak and baked potatoes. Anyway, you said you were hadn't hit any places. You've been going to the, I think you said the UPS store,
Yes,
maybe there and here and there. The Bat Cave is wide open.
Okay.
Alfred doesn't have to check your temperature. You don't have to wear a mask. All the bats eat all the viruses up. They die. So it's germ-free here at the Bat Cave, Lawton. Come on down.
It is the germ-free edition of the show that shakes the Southland, according to Double O, in the Bat Cave. That's great. Oh, man. I'm going to have to... He did say Robin's retired, though, right? I mean, does that mean he's... I mean, I'm assuming if Robin's retired, that means Double O's looking for a sidekick?
Okie dokie.
Sign me up. Sign me up. Your website, ClemsonSportsTalk.com. You can head over there right now. Again, you can try premium for just $1. You can become a premium subscriber for 1 year for $63.17. That's 18 cents a day. We got these awesome Clemson Sports Talk pins that we're going to be giving away to our subscribers. A great article up right now on Clemson's latest commit, Josh Beadle, in-state guard who is committed to the Clemson Tigers to play basketball and what his role could look like ultimately in Clemson. So go check that out over on our website. Again, ClemsonSportsTalk.com. Taking a look to see, man, is there anything else that came out during the show? I don't want to miss anything. We never did hear back, and hopefully we can get hooked up with Stacy Danley, the athletic director at SC State. Would love to chat with him. I also reached out and wanted to connect with Ernest Robinson. Did not have a chance to get up with him. He's the voice of the Bulldogs, but would love to talk with either of those gentlemen tomorrow about the impact of this and the feelings that they have, because this is a harsh reality that you as a fan of whatever school you root for, whether it's the Tigers, Gamecocks, Yellow Jackets, Seminoles, Bulldogs, you may have to deal with that too at some point along the line. And if it was a gut punch today for you, you can only imagine the type of gut punch it would have been for them. So, again, my thoughts and prayers certainly go out to those young men on the teams, and I hope they find places to play or that they figure out something to do in the spring, but it's not looking great on so many levels right now. We got to get out of here. Until tomorrow, as always, y'all take care now, and go Tigers! And go Tigers!
Clemson Sports Talk with Lawton Swan on Columbia's home for sports. Fox Sports Radio 1400. Fox Sports Radio 1400 traffic.
Reports of a car on fire, I-20 westbound near mile marker 95. We also have an accident this evening on Clemson Road at Whitehurst Way. I'm Rob Sanders. Reach out to me if you're stuck on the 103.5 FM WVOC traffic tip line, 343-1055.
This report is sponsored by Ozzy.com.
Get smarter every day at Ozzy.com. Try a new news site that tells you about the most interesting people, places, and ideas. Discover the next Obama, or maybe the next LeBron James. Try OZY.com right now. Ozzy, it's like a latte for your mind. Get some.
Hi, this is Kevin Hunter with Simplified Office Systems. We're here to help you with your home office. Whether you need a large multifunction device or something simple to sit on your desk, we can help with that. We offer products and strategies from HP. We also, with every product, give you remote support, troubleshooting, setup support, whatever you need, we are here to help. We can even put a Clemson logo on that new copy. Contact us by visiting mysimplifiedoffice.com or call us at 888-914-7476.